Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Burning Wheel. I am joined today by AJ, Rasmus, and by Chris. So, hello guys, how you been doing?
I've been doing alright.
He says, and rip-roaring silence ensues. What about the other two?
I'm quite fine, though a bit nervous by now because I'm leaving
fine.
for Scotland.
That's right. That's right. You're flying for Scotland in the name of education.
Also, it sounded to me like AJ's sound was iffy at best.
Yeah, I think I heard some the crispiness of the robotics as well. AJ, could you say something? Say some more. Yeah,
Hey,
yeah,
why?
that's a bit ugly. I don't know. Do we want to just wait and see if this turns out for the better, or should we restart the
Oh,
call?
that's not nice.
Yeah, I think we're gonna restart the call.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do
No,
that.
well,
I'll call you
Hey,
guys back
Robots.
in just a second. Well, hopefully we can get this out of the way early then. You can never truly rely on Skype for this.
Hello?
Hello?
hello. Arja has not picked up.
No, she has not.
The connection on her end might be very bad.
That might be the case. Let's hope not. But, yeah. We simply cannot know.
But we must.
Hi, Rasmus. Could you keep talking for a moment?
I'm doing the talking thing to talk and talk some more and more talking.
Now you're low.
We
have
again.
Oh, that increased a bit. Keep talking.
Maybe I just have to speak really loudly for a little while and then I'll get back.
Yeah.
How was that?
Yeah, it's much better. Your audio did increase as you spoke up.
Maybe I should do the occasional
Perhaps. Just cough really loudly before you speak. Right. Well, I'm gonna try and re-add her. Yeah, I think you might be right. There might be something wrong with the connection on her end.
Well, that's a bit shit. Just
Hello. So,
What's up?
Hi.
yeah, so now we have everyone back in the call. AJ, could you sound off for a bit? Just let us hear if you come through crisply.
Well, I think I found out why I sounded iffy.
Oh, what up?
It wanted to use my phone's network,
Yeah, that's probably right.
so I had to change over, so I hope it's better now.
Yeah, okay, well, let's hope. We can only hope, right? Technology is when sufficiently advanced, is indistinguishable from magic, and in this case, none of us really know what the fuck we're doing. So let's just hope. All right, so let's talk about some Burning Wheel, because we had our first session last time, and stuff happened, and you all pursued and completed some beliefs of yours, and now you have some new beliefs, and let's talk about what's changed. Just briefly to reiterate what happened last time. Last time, you guys met up as a group. The circumstance being Nicholas being in the business in the process of discussing business with a local criminal. And discussing the joining of their enterprises to better assist each other in doing their illicit dealings, was asked to prove his muscle, to flex his organization a bit, and push a local man, into accepting under the table deals with local criminal elements, which he set about doing by walking into his establishment and beating the shit out of the man. The two of you. The recently arrived refugee sorceress twins, was about to try and rent a room in said establishment. But events turning out the way they did. Instead, wound up helping this criminal and his compatriots beating the shit out of the owner instead, in return for the promise of room and board and a job.
Yep, fair deal.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Very
you were also you were shown like the local digs of the organization, the building that they use as a storefront, like where they do their work, and you happened upon the corpse of what appeared to be a vagrant or some kind of homeless person who had OD'd in a somewhat terrifying, mystical feeling sense on something that was very clearly a bastardization of your product, Nicholas. And that is where we ended last time. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Sounds correct.
All right. Well, with that in mind, let's talk beliefs, instincts, and traits. Let's start at the top. Minomir. What do you have? Let's talk about your beliefs and your instincts and your traits.
I don't have any difference in traits.
No, it's fine. We'll just reiterate them anyway. Like we mentioned them at the start of every session so that they're fresh in the mind of everyone.
Ugh. But that's tedious.
And very good for us. So yeah, let's hear it.
Like
Remove
exercise.
brother's curse, blah blah blah. Try and find someone who know about curses.
Unless blah 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 has become some kind of international lingo that sends mind beams into the head of people who watch YouTube videos, maybe be a bit more specific.
But it's the exact same thing as first time.
But maybe people can't remember.
Yeah.
And they can go back and watch it.
I'm just gonna for the sake of brevity, I'm just gonna ask you to play along.
I will find a way to remove my brother's curse so we can have a chance at a normal life. To do this, I'll find someone who knows of curses.
Very nice. That's your first belief. What's your second belief?
And that's the one you change. If people seek me out for help, try to avoid them. Aristar is new for me, and until I can be sure it won't harm me, I'll lay low with my abilities. Oh.
It's the same as it was the last time. I remember we talked about it, but it's a pretty solid belief for now.
Nicholas' business is in danger. Someone has been tampering with his narcotics, and I will find out what exactly has been done to it.
Yeah, that was based on the events that transpired at the end of the session. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good stand-in belief for the last one, which was, of course, to acquire a job, which happened to come about very easily for the two of you. So yeah, this one might present a bit more of a challenge for you. Time will tell. What about your instincts?
If I see Shisho getting into trouble, drop what I'm doing and go to his side.
All right.
If I see someone attractive, flirt.
Love that one. Yeah.
If surprised, draw a weapon.
Love those two in conjunction. And how about your traits?
Base humility.
Mm-hmm.
Spooky. Mark of privilege. That gives me 1 dice of ability with the knobs.
Yeah.
Gifted. Obscure aura. That gives a double obstacle to read my aura.
Yep.
Cool-headed. And that reduces hesitation.
Very nice. Yeah, that's from years of mental exertion from trying to be around your frightening ass brother.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I'm actually very likable when you don't encounter me.
Yeah, you're a very pleasant person to not be around.
No, because I'm still spooky. Just
All right.
less scary than my brother, yes.
It's true. All right. Well, thank you for that. Let's talk about Nicholas.
Yes. So my beliefs, the same. We've modified the first belief slightly. The original sentence hasn't changed, but we've added something onto the end of it. So it now reads: The world is a shitty place and owes me nothing. Therefore, I'll take what I can and will, however I can and will. Right now, I will take the recent shipment of Lylan cloth to sell for a profit. This ties into a potential plot hook that the Games Master has informed me of between sessions. So
Yeah.
that's how that one comes up.
So this is an interesting element of belief design. Your beliefs do not have to be specifically tied into anything that I present you with as the game master. You can write beliefs about some part of the fiction that you make up, and then when you tell me about it, right? Let's say for instance that Chris had come up with this belief on his own, and we hadn't just talked out like what could be fun for you to write a belief about. But he could have come up with this completely on his own and been like, so there's this shipment of cloth from Lylan that I totally want to get my hands on. And then for me as a GM, right, it's for me to decide if this shipment of cloth from Lylan is that a thing? Did that happen? Is it there? And for most parts, and usually, there's no reason for it not to be. So you have some agency in the fiction when you write beliefs, right? You don't have to work off a picture I'm painting. You could be like, there's this guy 3 streets down from us who's a dickhead, and I want to steal like his famous stone collection because I dislike the fact that he's a dickhead, and I want to hurt him. Like you could go about it that way, and we'll talk about it when you mention your beliefs at the start here. So yeah, that's good. Anyway, keep going, Chris.
Yep, belief number 2. Introducing fairy dust to Ryram could set me up for life. I will build up my capital to achieve this. Brackets 40 cash, close brackets. And belief 3. Someone, this is an entirely new one based on the events of the last session. Someone threatens the image of my product. I will kill them to ensure they and others never do so again. It says I will, but I'll change that. That's all the beliefs.
I like that too, because essentially what that tells us is that like it's the image of your product that's the problem, right? It's not the fact that it kills people, it's the fact that it kills people might hurt your profits.
Exactly. Why? What do you think I'd do this for?
Yeah, I know.
No.
It's very telling.
Yeah. Okay. My instincts. We've revised the first instinct to make it a little bit more general and a bit more applicable in a different way, in interesting ways. So the first instinct is now never offer mercy to an enemy. Instinct 2 is everyone's out to get me, so trust no one. And instinct 3, always carry a sharp knife.
All right.
But what if there's only a dull one in reach?
Then sharpen it on something.
Okay.
It's a good point. All right. How about your traits? What are we looking at?
Traits are, well, there's 4 character traits and 1 die trait. We've got character traits are paranoid, odd, nihilistic, and callous. And his die trait is Louis Wu, which, as was explained last time, and we shall explain here, causes Nicholas to laugh, sometimes pretty much uncontrollably, in the face of danger or intimidation.
Yep. That's I don't actually know what the reference is, like what Louis Wu references, if it references anything or if it's just randomly named. I imagine it references something. But yeah, that's an awesome trait anyway. It's like you get to replace your stand and drool hesitation with laugh.
Yeah.
All right, and last but certainly not least, Shihao.
That's me.
Let's talk about your bits.
Well, I think AJ has the number for those, but I can talk about my beliefs and instincts if you want.
Yeah, sure, go on.
If you want the bits, I can actually print them into the...
It's fine. Go on, smartass.
Well,
Seriously.
Don't validate him.
for my beliefs, I think I'll start there. I want to make a name for myself as someone to be feared or revered by any means. As such, I will make an effort to become the center of attention in public. I'm convinced Mr. Smolak I've convinced Mr. Smolak to let us join his organization, but words are only words if not followed by action. As such, I will prove to Mr. Smolak that my brother and I are useful by finding the person who infringed on his product and destroying him. And the knowledge of old holds power untold. I will seek it out whenever I have the chance.
Yeah, those are 3 excellent beliefs.
Thank you, thank you. And for instincts, I have if weird shit happens, check if I'm dreaming, such as pinching myself, looking at my hands, and trying to read stuff. And I respond to threats with intimidation, which I'm not very good at, it turns out. And if I need advice, ask Minomir for advice when you need it. And that was the one we talked about.
I remember that, yeah.
And for traits, I have base humility, so I know how to bow and shit. I'm spooky. I'm obsessed with ancient magics. I'm a catamite, because I love cuck. I have mark of privilege, because I'm pretty and fancy and clearly of noble birth. I have aura of fear, which makes people afraid of me. And I'm gifted, because I'm smart, and also I can do magic.
And also I can do magic. Yep. That's how it really works.
Yep.
You know, in order to have the gifted trait, you have to portray your character as a smartass. It's in the rules somewhere, I'm sure of it. It's in the
I don't know if
errata.
I have to, but he is.
All right. So yeah, that's a nice look at your characters, and now at least we'll have an idea of what we'll be doing. So let's get into it, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? So we rejoin you guys the day after the day we left off. We join you in the building in question, in the front for your organization, Nicholas. Placed on a table somewhere in one of the side rooms of the building, with a cloth draped over it, is the corpse of this person you found last time, who's been removed from the streets in order to keep attention off that area.
Yes.
And we join, of course, you guys after you've woken up and after you've had a hearty breakfast. And I say hearty, but it's I don't know, right? Your financial situation in that organization is pretty tenuous, so maybe it's just a breakfast.
I'm sure compared to what we're used to, it's a nice breakfast.
Yeah. Considering you, like the 3 of you, and by the 3 of you I mean you, your brother, and the teacher in question, who usually does nothing but expect to be fed.
Such a nice teacher.
Like you have one person between you with. You have foraging, and Minnow has herbalism, and together you can kind of scrounge for shit.
Yep.
But that alone has not been enough. And I remember we talked about the fact that both of you are dirt poor is probably at least partially because you've had to feed yourself traveling south.
Yes. Hopefully, Mr. Smolak will fix that problem for us.
Hopefully, I mean that's the downside of hiring new help. It might be extremely useful new help, but there has been a sudden increase in responsibility on the shoulders of Nicky, and time will tell if he can stand up to the weight. So
And if he doesn't, I'll show him what a storm of lightning looks like in melee range, because as we talked about, that's suicidal to do.
Yes. Yeah, I remember.
I'll just shoot off a lightning storm in the middle of your house and everyone dies.
Yeah. Just literally I'm gonna cast a spell now and we all roll new characters.
In the afterlife, Big Bro is beating the shit out of Little Bro because he was an idiot.
You should be used to it by now.
All
How
right.
many times have I told you not to unleash a fucking thunderstorm inside a house? Sorry, I forgot.
This
So
once,
just
because
to
we
paint
died.
you a picture, we join you guys sitting around like a central table in the front room that you initially entered last time. The room is adorned with crates stacked in the separate corners of the room, like a bit of rope and general mess hanging from rafters and so on. What little light there is probably like the morning light, what little escapes into the tangle of alleyways that this house is a part of, that shines through closed shutters. Like the musty, not musty, the dusty light beams that where you can see the fact that this room is probably poorly cleaned. Dancing is a live testament to that dancing in the air. And you guys, as I mentioned, are seated around this table. Present in the building with you are two of Nikki's employees. Not the same as last time, but just they're basically, I imagine, like two people being on rotation in this building at all times, just to make sure that no one breaks in and steals shit. And Evelyn is not present this morning.
Where is Evelyn then?
Evelyn is yeah, that's a good question. Would that you can tell me, right? Do you talk about where she goes, or does she just wander off and do stuff? What is the nature of your relationship?
The relationship is that I suggest things that need to be done, and then she kind of decides whether or not she wants to do them, or gets someone else to do them.
Yeah, but outside of that professional relationship, does she just? I mean, you guys are lovers, so does she, generally speaking, walk around you and stay about you, or do you just wander in and out of each other's presence every now and then?
I think the latter, because we know the business well enough to know not to stay together too often.
All right. Well, in that case, she's out doing something.
Yes. Well, as it is, Nikki's current predicaments are to make a start on finding out what's caused this bad batch of fairy dust to appear and how to stop the person who's got it going, and also to find a way of disposing of the corpse so that it doesn't arouse suspicion. Because obviously the reason they're keeping it, I mean, the only reasons I can think why we've kept it without getting rid of it overnight are that it's still too early or too soon to just get rid of it as it is, or someone is able to actually study it and find out just what the hell's going on with it.
I mean, I wouldn't deign, as a GM, rob you of the potential trouble of trying to dispose of a corpse. I mean, what kind of game master would I be if I didn't hold that particular tidbit over you? Also, as you correctly point out, there might be something you can learn from it. You guys will be the one who have to tell me.
Is Nicholas mentioning his problems at the breakfast table?
Yes, I think he will be.
In that case, I think Jihadi suggests finding out who supplied this man and spying on them.
And how would you suggest we find that person?
I think that would be up to someone who knows the people of the city a little bit better, but perhaps...
Yeah. We start putting feelers out this morning, making the rounds, finding out who's selling.
Do you have regular sellers?
Not many. I'm meant to be one of the premier providers of this stuff.
So how do you distribute it?
That's a good question. And it actually brings to mind something that I want to ask you, Chris. I want you to establish something in the fiction for us.
Mm-hmm.
Is fairy dust illegal? It's definitely illegal that you're smuggling it in. The fact that the story of where it's from, and if that leaked out, that if that was public knowledge, you would be lynched. Someone somewhere would come for you. But is the drug in itself, is that illegal? What is this country, or should I say the city's position on substance abuse?
Good question. I would say that, yeah, I would say it probably would be, because as a hallucinogen, it can. While I don't think it has the most violent sort of coming down after side effects, it is still hallucinogen. It still causes people to become detached from reality, and that can have all kinds of effects on how people behave. It can incite people to chaos. It can prevent them from working. It can leave them as slobbering messes or jittery, paranoid wrecks, potentially. Or it could just have them blissing out like hippies all over the place.
Is this like normal policy that drugs are bad in this city, or is it a case of your drug kind of got out on the market, and then eventually when it became like an issue, then someone somewhere, like some alderman or the local ruling nobility, handed down the missive that this is now decreed by law to be an unsanctioned substance, and it is illegal to trade in it and use it.
The latter.
Okay.
I think the religion might have some need for mild narcotics for the purpose of rituals, but what we're being shown here is way beyond that.
Yeah, they probably do have some like traditions that are steeped in smelling certain vapors, or ingesting or imbibing some kind of substance that then takes them on a little trip. Like, there are definitely like parts of the religion that do that, but they don't rely on narcotics from the other end of the world to do that. They've been doing this happily for the past 600 years,
exactly,
with readily available local materials.
Yeah.
All right.
So yeah.
Cool. So yeah, that's nice, because okay, so now we know that how you deal in it is also hush hush. So by all means, take it away. Go, return to your conversation.
So I think how do you distribute it then?
Well, that's the point. We don't sell it ourselves. That's too easy to leave back. We try and distribute it among local sellers in the different districts. So trying to find the specific ones, and which ones may be either cocking it up or tampering with it. It'll take time, but it could be done.
Yes, that would make it a little more difficult to figure out who did it. You could supply them with wares that are marked in some fashion, but I don't know how you would mark a powder without coloring it.
Can't any of your fancy magic Watsits do that?
Not unless you want it to explode.
Can't much fucking worse than what it's doing already. No, it's just a joke. Anyway, well, we'll have to do it the old-fashioned way then, won't we? We'll have to actually go out and find out. Listen for feelers. Find out which ones are going bad. If the corpse was here, I doubt it came from this district. That would be too fucking obvious.
It almost sounds like you would have good use of law enforcement. Too bad. But sure, we could probably help you.
All right. Let's start by finding out what we can, listening to the people, listening out in the dens of iniquity in the local districts, and then pushing our way out from there. Have to start. Which will be the most obvious? Let's check the corpse, see if that can tell us anything.
In that case, Minumi, I think that would be your area of expertise.
Whoops, I muted.
Now I imagine Minomir sitting there talking and no sound escaping his lips.
It's sorcery! Sorcery, I says you!
He doesn't notice himself that he threw silence on himself. Sorry, what did you say again? I lost it.
We were going to examine the corpse, and Yahaji thought, well, that's probably something you're better at. So he asked you if you wanted to do it.
Sure. I can take a look at him.
Alright,
On
this
a
way
quick
then.
side note, sorry, Daniel, it seems you've removed my health levels. Oh no, right, they're there. Never mind.
Is all well? Is all good?
Yes, I'm just clearly dreaming.
Okay, good.
You've
Wonderful.
killed me! No, wait.
That makes
I
sense.
won't-
You should pinch yourself. You should pinch yourself.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I'm
just
looking at my hands. Alright. I think Yahaji would find some sort of cloth to put over his face, just in case the corpse has already started smelling. It probably has.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it didn't smell really good to begin with. He didn't smell that good when he was alive. So,
And
yeah,
now
it's
all the gases is coming out of him.
probably a decent idea. Alright, so you guys enter one of the side rooms to this building. Not that there's a lot of them, but it's a house. It's a small house. So it's definitely there. And in a place that would, I don't know, like in the side room on a slab under a top, there's a dead guy.
And he's smiling and waving.
No, but he definitely has a rictus going on, but it's not a smile that makes you feel comfortable.
If he was smiling and waving, I would be hitting him with my stick until he lay still. Because that is where the surprise would come in. Ah! Slam, 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 slam.
Yeah. Hey guys, I'm alright! Boom, boom, boom.
I think you just killed him. Shit. No, we can't ask him
So,
where-
what do you want to do?
Apparently, I've been dubbed the coroner.
Yes.
I have
go
no
and coroner.
idea how to do the coroner stuff, but my brother apparently thinks that I should be able to.
I mean, if you know how to patch someone up.
You're the corpsey person, right?
Sure.
That's
No,
the thing you wouldn't like.
Now I'm looking at my traits and I think it's too late to give him something for the pain. And it might be too late to use my spell on him
It's probably
to improve healing.
he's probably past the expiration date.
Now, but I am graveyard wise, so I know how to bury him.
Yeah, so when like you find yourself standing in front of this like a corpse on a table, you have like your employer on one side and your brother on the other side, looking at you expectantly, just waiting for you to do something. Like all eyes on you, no pressure.
Because
Yeah.
he has the steel he has, he's just like thinking to himself, well, it's kind of too late to bloodlet him. I suppose it's a bad idea to ask the stars for help.
And I think if you look to your brother, he looks like he just ate a lemon because that's his normal face. But you can see the tiny glint of his eye in his eyes that mean he's encouraging you.
Perfect. Well, there's a
Go,
first
do
time for
something.
anything, isn't there?
Do a thing. Go.
I'm gonna. Well,
So
I do
good.
know a little about illnesses and shit because I have seen sick people before, so I will go with my empirical knowledge and start checking the fucking corpse.
All right. So how do you go about looking? And are you looking on the outside for blemishes, or are you cutting up the corpse, or are you looking at...
First, I will look on the outside. What are the external things that happened? Like, has his gums turned black like it does with some poisons, or because he does know a little about that shit? Has his teeth changed color? Did he lose everything? You know?
Yeah, okay. So if you
This is
were...
from a healthy person to what happened to him and what doesn't, happen just because you eat bad.
All right. So you definitely have something here you want to do, right? You've essentially described a task here. What is your intent?
What she
Since I
just
don't
described.
have the skill, and I don't know how to say it in English, abduction.
You want to...
They start from the outside and go inside.
You want to go coroner on this person, right? But that's your task. That is how you intend to do something. But what is your intent? When Minomir decides to roll up his sleeves and approach the corpse, what does he hope to do, right? What is his intent? What does he want to achieve?
Find out what killed him.
Find out what killed him. That's a good intent. And you said about doing this by examining the corpse on the surface level and looking for scabs and blemishes and so on. And that's your task. Good. So we have a task and an intent. Excellent.
And once I've done on the outside, I will cut the fucker up to see what happened on the inside.
All right. So let's see about that. We will... There's probably a good skill for this. Let's have a look.
Probably.
Do you
I
have
kind
a-
of imagine you. I kind of imagine you.
Michelle, where the fuck is your surgeon?
I
Send your
imagine
angry
you
emails
budging.
to- What'd you say, Rasmus?
Am I low again?
No. I was just saying something too. So you go ahead.
It just. I feel like I'm, AJ being talked over by everyone.
I heard
Um,
you, but I also heard that Daniel was trying to say something.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just if I was low again, I'd try to fix it.
Hmm.
No, I feel. I imagine you budging and going like, it looks like someone cut him up.
Looks
You
like
just
this
did
looks like this person died from swallowing a live ostrich. I don't know where it went.
Let's just hope that doesn't happen then.
Yes.
All right, so let's see. Any good ideas? I mean, the immediate my immediate thought is to ask you for a what's the word I'm looking for?
Medicine?
An anatomy test. But I'm wondering if there is like a more medically inclined, like a skill you would use to look for blemishes and for knowing
Isn't
about
medicine a
sickness.
skill?
What'd you say, Rasmus?
Isn't medicine a skill?
There is no medicine skill, no.
Alright, because I thought
That's
I saw
herbalism.
somewhere you need either herbalism or medicine for some such.
Yeah, herbalism is what was medicine. I remember we talked about that when I wanted to make a character.
Is an
But if
apothecary
you
a skill?
wanted to heal and, know stuff about what can help you, herbalism was the thing to go to.
Cool.
All right, so here's what I do. You have any wises you think would be useful here, like disease wise or sickness wise or death wise?
Could graveyard wise be used here? I know what a dead person already looks like.
Well, graveyard wise it deals more with graveyards than it deals with corpses specifically. Corpses are like a side project to graveyard wise. So I would say as a standalone for this test, no, it would not.
I have graveyard wise, apocalypse wise, and stormlands wise.
And none of those are particularly useful in this
They're not in
situation.
stormlands, but there are probably things I've seen down there that maybe could help, but that's a stretch.
All right, so here's what I'll do. I will ask you to make a perception check, a perception test, and I will, if you have the skills, you may make a link test using using anatomy, and using apothecary.
Apothecary is also a thing. Okay.
Do
I
you
don't
have either of those
No.
skills? You do not. Okay, in that case, it would just be a straight perception check. And let's talk about stakes. So, if you succeed on this perception check, you will find out, like, you will find some clue as to what killed him. You'll find out what killed him, because that's your intent. But if you fail, then you will. I want to say you will definitely get an impression of what killed him, but it will be wrong. Right? That sound good?
I don't know what the obstacle was, but 3, 1, 6.
No, so just go into your character sheet, and in your stats and skills,
That
Fine.
doesn't work.
what?
I can't roll things through my character sheets. I have never been able to.
That's interesting. Well, then I'll roll it for you. So
My
perception.
perception is 3.
Perception is 4.
No, it's 3.
No, it's 4.
Oh.
I'm confused.
Why can I put 3 into it and now have 4?
What?
Over
Yeah.
here it's 3.
Your perception is definitely 4, as far as I can tell.
It looks like it's 4 to me too.
Okay.
Oh, I think you're confusing perception with observation.
Oh.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see where the misunderstanding snuck in. No, this is just a straight perception check.
Can I
Perception
fork
is your stat.
observation in, though?
Yeah, so I'll just roll it for you. Do you want to use Persona or Arthur on this? Not Persona or Fate. If you want to use Fate, you can say so after we rolled. If there's any sixes, you may then say you want to spend Fate to re-roll some sixes.
I think I'll hold on to my persona for now.
All right. And the obstacle for this test is going to be obstacle. There's going to be obstacle 4.
Hi, Nicholas. Fuck the
Wow! What? Okay. So you rolled 3 sixes. So you might succeed if you spend a fate point now. You can explode those sixes. You only need to get one more success to get it.
Yay, I'll do that. And no
Oh.
ones, please.
All right. Yeah, we'll do that.
See what you rolled, though. I can't. Oh, nice.
You can roll that. Just /R 3d6.
I imagine Minumir looking at the corpse and just going,
Ah, that's a bummer. All right. So
I
go in-
really need 4? Wow.
so go into your character sheet.
I removed the fate.
Yeah, remove one fate, but once you've removed the fate, put it in your perception. You spend a fate rolling your perception. So you look at your perception. There is a F, P, and D circle next to it. Just type 1 into F.
I have to find my perception.
It's on the left-hand side below Will.
So 1 into F.
Yeah.
What
So-
does that mean?
That means you've spent You've spent 1 fate point on your perception skill. Once you've spent enough fate, perception, and deed points on any given skill or stat, it's eligible to advance to a gray shade.
Okay. Does
Alright.
that also means I get a dot in... You use this!
It
Now you're
would.
closer.
It would, except perception is one of the few things that you have to succeed to advance. So this doesn't count as a test because you failed.
Screw you, perception.
Yeah, I know it's bad luck.
It
It's
was
bad luck.
fucking 3 6s. I
Yeah.
want you to roll for me because my own dice hate me.
Well, it's the classic, right? I'm just good at role playing games. That's why my dice come up good. Yeah, that would have been better. Alas.
Fuck you.
All right.
I just
So
wanted to try because when it matters, it's always nah. When it doesn't, yeah, sure.
we could actually look into, because I'm not sure if this is correct, but I think you could, if you wanted to go for it, you could also spend the persona. I think even now to get an extra die to roll. I don't know if that would be interesting to you, but I think you can do that even after you roll.
Sure.
All right, so let me just have a look. I'll see if I'm remembering this correctly.
I want to try everything.
Sure.
Not because I have to succeed this one, but because I'm like, yeah, let's try it. What the hell could happen?
That's a very good position to come into a new game from.
Even if it doesn't work, then okay, I've spent a persona. I'm now closer to have great eye in it.
All right, let's see, persona page 64. Okay. This is also new to me, so I apologize for the delay while I scurry about the book trying to find out stuff.
Also, why I thought that, why, let's try it. Sure.
You may choose to spend up to 3 extra persona on a skill. Each point grants 1 die on a roll. Ah, the boon must be announced before the die is cast. Alright, so I was right about that one. Alright, so I'm sorry. No, so okay, we're looking at a failed test here. So you have a look at the corpse, and it's definitely the body of a person who's had a rough time for the last little while of his existence, at least. His hands are calloused. His skin is blotchy. He might have been malnourished.
At least I didn't budge it.
That's true, but there is no such thing as botching. There is just success and failure.
You didn't say if I budged it, I would get a completely wrong picture of it.
Oh yeah, but that's what's happening. You failed. That is the consequence of failure. We established. So that's definitely what you're looking at. But as far as you're able to tell, he probably suffocated. That would make sense to you just looking at the corpse for some reason, right? And the fact that he has like creepy, intense, black, veiny eyes, and that his cornea have like seemed to evaporate into milky whiteness. That has definitely happened, and that's ooky spooky and all, but it's probably not tied to why he died. At least not in your opinion. In your opinion, this man suffocated.
All right. Then that is what I say.
Right.
Do you sound convinced?
Well, you guys are looking to Minomir to provide some answers about this corpse, and after going over it with a fine-tooth comb, he comes out of it saying, relaying the information and basically being, this man apparently suffocated.
Huh.
Suffocated.
That's not how he says it. He says it like you say it. He probably. For all I can tell, that is how he died.
I see.
I'm not sure I'm convinced, but maybe you do see it better than I do.
You want me to go?
Perhaps
give you a
whatever
second
they did.
opinion?
Perhaps whatever they did to the drug closes up the respiratory system.
Yeah.
This is
Doesn't
by.
explain.
Go on.
No, you first.
This is a good time to bring up a side point, which is that because the two of you did not help the check, you are not bound by the outcome of it. So while Minnow is convinced that this person suffocated, the two of you, because you didn't offer helping dice, you were free to be as skeptic as you want to. But if you had helped, you would be bound to the same result.
Yes, I'd forgotten we could do that.
Yeah,
Well-
but none of you wanted to help, even though he looked pointedly at his brother. It's just that, no, you're on your own, little bitch.
Well, when Nick said he found it doubtful or whatever he said, Jihadi offered if or asked if he wanted him to go get a second opinion or something like that. Give a second opinion, not get.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Show me where you found evidence of suffocation. He says to his brother.
Yeah, I don't know. Ask Daniel.
No, that's why. Like, it's basically, do you do that?
Me or AJ?
AJ, like, does Minnow help his brother by pointing to the signs you found that he died of suffocation?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know where they are. Daniel does.
Yeah, so he points you to like the lips are a bit blackened, the eyes seems to have popped a bit. There is like a huge like there's an indication of great strain on the neck, and that seems like that's probably why, right? That's why he suffocated.
I should I declare an intent or something then?
Yeah, what's your intent?
My intent is to basically look it over and confirm or not confirm that he did indeed suffocate.
All right, so your intent is not to find out why how he died, but to find out whether or not he suffocated.
Yes, and if I find out he did indeed suffocate, well then that's that. And if I found out that wait a minute, this doesn't make sense, then I can check if I can find an alternate explanation.
Yeah, okay. I'll yeah, I think that's a way to do it. Okay, so start out by giving me a you want to find out if he suffocated. How do you go about finding out if he suffocated?
That's a good question. We
have your intent. Let's set your task.
Well, I guess I also examine him.
So basically, you go about like you just take a look for yourself, right? In the same way that Minnow did.
Yeah, I don't have any relevant skills to to use.
All right.
So for me, it would also just be, I guess this makes sense.
So you're also rolling perception flat.
Well, you could say it with, well, we have seen people, what they look like when they're suffocated, because, fuck, we've seen a couple of people who have drowned in the marsh. When we lived back in the Stormlands, let's face it, we've seen a lot of people die. And
you're no strangers to death.
We've seen what happens when certain stuff happens to them. So you can say, well, I may not be an expert in it, but I've seen some, and I'm gonna go with this empirical thing and use perception.
Yeah, I think using perception is as valid for you as it was for your brother. So you may make a perception check if you want to at obstacle 4, the same as your brother.
Arthur, 0 base obstacle 4.
Yeah.
Oh.
Nah.
Also 3 successes, but no 6s to reroll and no declaration of persona spent. All right, by the way, I apologize for not setting the consequence for this roll, like what would happen if you failed it. I should have done that before you rolled, but I think it's fair to say that if you fail this check to get the second opinion, you agree with your brother. Right, you look over the corpse and it seems to make sense to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Seems like this guy did suffocate. If you look at the eyes and there's some strain here. That's my guess at least. But you can come take a look if you want. It's nice. Fragrant over here.
Yeah, I've no eye for that kind of work. That being said, I will have a look to see if there's anything about where he's from.
So that's how you're rummaging through his clothes or looking over like his person to find out where he's from?
Yes, that sort of thing.
Okay. So his clothes don't give much in like they don't like he doesn't have his address sewn into the fabric. There is no little return slip, unfortunately. But like he's dressed in a way that like he's dressed more richly than his body would indicate his lifestyle being. So he seems to have led a shittier life for his last for the last weeks of his days. And you can see like that he maybe he came from like the middle class or something. He has like decently made clothes, but they're threadbare and kind of worn.
Okay, so...
And he's recently soiled his bridges, but you know, details.
Well, loss of bowel control isn't one of the normal side effects of fairy dust, so
It's not.
which suggests that what happened either the suffocation or something caused him to be afraid enough that he lost control of his bowels.
I don't know, but I imagine at this point, I don't know if Nicky mentioned that out loud, if he's talking to himself, but there's probably a moment if he does so with Shihao having like a brief flashback to yesterday with the guy starting to claw at his temples at seeing him. Just like, I'm so scared, I'm so frightened. Like, oh.
Is this the same guy?
Yeah, that's that person.
I think he probably didn't realize yet because, you know, just some insignificant stranger.
Yes, many strangers have, many strangers are known to claw at their temples before they die.
But in that case, I think he thinks, well, if you're suffocating, wouldn't you, you know, go for your throat or something? So I think he checks his temples.
All right, so what we're gonna do here is we're gonna return to what you guys continue to do in pursuit of I guess in this case looking over a corpse, but whatever you decide to take up, we'll do that after the break. And now we'll just take a brief break so you guys can go about getting something to drink or whatever. And we'll be right back with more Burning Wheel.